Hello everyone, I'm Rick Jenkins. I'm the publisher at GSA Business Report, and we are the media company that serves high-level business executives in the upstate of South Carolina. And welcome to another episode of Coffee With. And today I'm having coffee with Shaun Malin. Shaun is the regional manager for HRP Associates, and for those of you who might not know, HRP is a firm that provides consultation services in environmental areas, as well as engineering, health and safety, and that kind of thing. You do it for companies really not only throughout the country, but all over the world.
That's correct.
Good
Absolutely.
to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, good. You've got your mug. I've got my mug. All is good.
Excellent.
All right. So I want to make sure I got this right. Your all's corporate office and where you were founded is in Farmington, Connecticut?
That's correct.
Is that right?
That's right.
And you have, I believe, 9 offices throughout the country.
That's right.
You just opened your latest one in
Charleston,
South Carolina.
Absolutely.
And the COO is your boss, and that's Tad Gutchess. And you and Tad work out of the Greenville office. Now tell me this, is the Greenville office where the magic really happens, right?
For the whole company?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
We provide a lot of magic, but we have a lot of support from all the other offices.
Good
Yeah,
answer.
you like that?
Yeah, I like it. A lot of magic. Okay, Shaun, let's talk about you for a second, and we'll come back to HRP. You have 17 years of experience in environmental consulting. You are a licensed geologist in 9 different states. You have a bachelor's, and I have to read this one, you have a bachelor's in environmental geoscience.
That's right.
And a master's in hydrogeology from Clemson.
That's right.
So I got to ask, when you're a young man and you're in high school and you're thinking, what the heck am I going to do with my life? How did Shaun decide, you know, environmental geoscience is the direction for me?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think what I knew, you know, looking back at yourself when you're 18, 17, I think what I knew about myself then was that I wasn't necessarily an inside guy. And I think that when you start looking for careers on getting some outside time, being in the field, as we say, and things of that nature, I think you start gravitating towards certain career paths. And I feel like, to some degree, I feel like the geology, the hydrogeology kind of found me. And it's been great. It's been fantastic. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Now, you've been in Greenville for a while, but you're originally from up in the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, I'm from a small town outside of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I've been in Greenville. I've been in South Carolina it'll be 20 years this August.
So it's home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
I've been here for 16 years, and it is home for me as well.
Yeah.
I love it here.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about HRP.
Okay.
Founded in 1982.
That's correct.
So almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
The company was founded in the wake of the federal establishment of the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. Now, at that time, what that act did was it gave the EPA pretty much the opportunity to control solid waste.
To regulate.
Hazardous waste. Thank you.
Yeah,
Regulate
to regulate.
hazardous waste.
Yes.
I would assume that was the reason you were founded.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I would assume that there are a whole lot of companies that were founded at the same time to do the same thing.
Yeah, I imagine so. You know, the HR and the P, our founding fathers, were working in Connecticut at that time. And
what is that, Shaun? HR and P? What's the name?
So Hausman, Rinaldi, and Posanento. Obviously 3 guys that didn't grow up in South Carolina.
Posanento, Italian.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was obviously a need at that point in time for a lot of the client base, a lot of the industry. There was a lot of manufacturing still in the Northeast at that point in time. And I think that there was an obvious need there. And so those guys stepped out and started this ship, and here we are.
Any idea what they were doing before they started?
I believe they were working for the Connecticut DEP, so they were actually in the agency. And so there was a carve out there to kind of make that leap and start their own business. And
do you recall when the Conservation Act was put into place? I think it was several years before y'all were founded, but late 70s?
Well, there were several, right? There were several iterations. There was the creation of the EPA, there was clean water, clean air, and all that kind of bundled up, but it was in that, I believe, the Jimmy Carter era there, kind of at the end of that.
Got it.
That came into that.
And you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think you're that old, but okay. All right, let's. I got a video. You brought a video along, and I really like it. It's a cool thing to show, and I think you'll enjoy it. Tell a little bit more about these guys. Take a look. Okay, welcome back. Let's continue talking about HRP, Shaun. They provide a full range, you guys provide a full range of environmental and civil engineering consulting services, and a few of them, and I want you to talk a little bit more in detail because there are a ton of them, but a few of them are air quality management, OSHA compliance, wastewater engineering, but the list goes on and on and on. If you go to your website, you'll see it, right? So give me the rundown.
Well, environmental is such a broad brush.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, that's what you just explained. I think that HRP and the people that we compete against, we all have a certain service sectors. The things that you just described kind of are niches for us, where we're at our best. Certainly the air compliance is one of our strong points, specifically here in South Carolina, but also as a firm. The OSHA health and safety is something that kind of came about through all of the environmental compliance efforts that we were already doing with all of the local plants. The industry, we do a ton of industrial and manufacturing, really from Raleigh to Texas. And when I say that to people, I get a lot of looks, but our staff in Greenville with the expertise that we have, we travel, it's consulting. And that's one of the things that we talk about when we're interviewing people, that consulting is not for the weak of heart. So, and the OSHA aspect of it is really something that came as a need from our clients. We were already in the plants, we were already helping them with environmental compliance, and then the gradual shift towards the health and safety aspect really came quite natural. And so we staffed up in that, and now it's one of our biggest service sectors, for sure, across the company.
All right, let's continue to talk about those service sectors that you just mentioned, because there's a wide variety of industry here. We're talking auto, aerospace, higher education, a number of finance. Tell me about those.
Yeah, so there are environmental aspects to every single one of those sectors. So obviously the health and safety and environmental compliance are kind of natural for automotive and aerospace. Higher education. We did a college audit program 10 years ago, a little bit more than 10 years ago, and that provided a lot of different services and consultation for, I think we did work for 250 colleges across the country. Healthcare, there are environmental compliance aspects to their day-to-day business. They have things that need to be, that are regulated and need to be managed. And so there's a lot of different nooks and crannies to environmental compliance that make their way into different sectors that you wouldn't normally think of.
Yeah, you and I were talking several months ago. We were somewhere back when we were allowed to network, right? Where we could go out and
that's right,
and have a beer or something and talk. But anyway, it's been a while. But anyway, we were talking and we were having this exact same conversation, and I just remembered that. Just being surprised that there were so many different industries that would require assistance from you guys.
Right.
When I first think of higher education, I don't think of environmental consulting in some way. One of the industries that struck me when we were talking that I never even gave a thought to was the hospitality industry that you all work with. Tell me what goes on there.
Well, that's a relatively new service sector for us. That's not traditionally something that we'd get involved with, but obviously with the services that we're offering for COVID, consultation, plan preparedness, and oversight of disinfection. It's something that's a need, and it was a pivot that was necessary for our company and for our client base. So that's something we've been really rolling up our sleeves and getting involved with.
So is it just crazy how much help is needed, how much assistance, how much consultation?
No, I don't think it's crazy. I think that people are slowly but surely starting to realize the gravity of the situation. And I'm not being doom and gloom when I say that. I think that the perspective of, how much has changed within the narrative, regardless of what news channel you watch or what side of the aisle you lean towards, the basic science of what we knew 8 weeks ago versus what we know today has changed. And so it's very much a moving target, and it's not, we're in that business of understanding regulations and how it impacts businesses and things. So for us, it's just a matter of absorbing some new material, understanding what the playbook is, the X's and O's. But for a lot of industries, like hospitality, for example, I mean, they've never had to deal with a fallout for anything like that. So it's very natural for us to kind of step forward in that. I mean, COVID is an environmental health and safety crisis, and so we have trained personnel. The nature of some of our service pillars require our staff to have the training and the education to go into hazardous environments. So it's not really, again, it's not a big shift for us.
The governor just reopened the state here recently, right?
Right.
In terms of the hospitality industry, and
right.
Of course we're going to go through a little bit of a process here. So we're not sure what that's going to look like. I think restaurants are feeling their way through this thing right now.
Yeah,
but we're beginning
absolutely.
the process, right?
That's right.
So how do these folks reach out to you? How do they reach out to HRP with questions? What type of questions might they have? How does that occur?
So obviously we have, our website is up to date, and we have a full listing of all the different COVID services that we provide. I mean, there's everything in there from, we need to talk about putting together a plan, how we're going to evaluate the different risks that come with the phased approach that the governor is putting out there, oversight of disinfection efforts, protocols in place and all those things. And, we've been in Greenville for 25 years, so we already have a clientele. I mean, I'm sure people have heard of us, and we take phone calls, and questions and answers come in through the website. We've been putting on a lot of free webinars lately that we've been advertising through social media.
Mm-hmm. We got another video. 30 seconds. Be right back. All right, welcome back. We always end, Shaun, with our Coffee With segments. We always end in the exact same way, and that is me asking you, are you a Gamecock or a Clemson Tiger?
Well, I'm a Clemson Tiger. I got my Tiger socks on today.
Oh, you
That's
do?
kind of my subtle,
Okay, good.
subtle tip of the hat.
Well, I understand. Of course, you've got your master's in hydrogeology at Clemson, so you
Yes.
have to be a Tiger fan.
Yes.
And you're very happy these days if you're a Tigers fan.
It is good.
It's good
It is a
times.
good time. That's right. Absolutely.
All right, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Oh,
Appreciate
sure.
it.
All right, folks, that concludes another episode of Coffee With. Thank you for joining us. And be sure to comment below. Subscribe to our YouTube page where all our videos are. Share, comment, like. We'd like to hear what you have to say. We'll see you next time.